mentioned it.
Nobody's mentioning him, and I understand why. He's a dangerous guy, so it's a real stacked division.
This is Danny Gaffone for pro boxing fans in Quebec City. It's weigh-in day. Artur Beterbiev, Callum Smith. It's a pleasure to have with me Semper Fi, Jamel Herring. Jamel, lovely to meet you, my friend. Big fight on our hands this weekend. Unified light heavyweight world title fight. A lot of us Brits over there are giving Callum a chance of pulling off the upset, defeating Artur Beterbiev from, I'm not going to say a less biased point of view, but from an American standpoint, from someone this side of the pond. How do you see the fight playing out?
I mean, like I said, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. Like Smith is a real good boxer. He's a tough individual. He's been in big fights before, so it's nothing new to him. But again, we all know what Artur brings to the table, of course. Look at the streak. But people feel like he's kind of slowing down. Me personally, I don't see it like that. But again, I think it's going to be a real competitive fight for both individuals, and I think it's a great fight for the sport of boxing.
Do you think Callum's chances of victory depend on Artur having perhaps lost a step?
No. Because I think that'll take away from the glory if he does get the victory. I think he just has to be smart in there and just be aware where he's at in that ring at all times. Because once Artur puts that pressure on you and starts putting his combinations together, it's hard for fighters to get him off him.
It looks like, provided Artur comes through on Saturday night, which is, as you say, is definitely not a given, that we might finally see him versus Dmitry Bivol for Undisputed.
Yes.
Reports that Saudis have agreed to deal with both camps. I mean, how amazing would that be if we got that fight?
I mean, it's been a fight that's been a long time coming. That if he gets past Smith, like I said, I gotta give Smith that respect because anything's possible in boxing. We've seen it. I mean, look what happened with a few weeks ago with Deontay Wilder. The upsets are bound to happen in the sport. So again, but if that fight does happen, I would love to see it still. It'll definitely determine who is truly the better light heavyweight in the world.
It always feels like it's just when we finally get the fight agreed that the upsets happen.
It's always happening. So fingers crossed. But again, if Smith wins it, I still like to see a unification either way.
I want to talk to you a bit about last week's boxing. Virgil Ortiz finally back in the ring after some prolonged and some pretty serious health issues. Good to see Virgil back. Excited to see what he can do at 154 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, Virgil's always been a good friend of mine, good supporter. So again, I'm glad to see him back. Of course, we wanted to see more. But that's probably a different story. But again, it's glad to see that he's back. More importantly, he came back and he was healthy. He didn't have any issues with the weight. His body didn't break down. So now we can finally see what Virgil Ortiz can really do in there.
And Ismael Barusso, man, rolling back the years, first round knockout of Harry Davis. I think I saw you tweeting about it actually. Just incredible.
You cannot stop overlooking us as us 80s babies. Us born in the 80s, we still have something left in the tank, as you can see. But again, no, it was a real. I wasn't really much shocked. I was probably more shocked which round, how it went down. But again, we all knew that Barusso was a big puncher, so I wasn't really shocked about him hurting, Davies in there.
At that same weight, it's a hot weight class in boxing, potentially the most lively, the most exciting division. Looked like for a while we might get to see Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and then Ryan's came out and said, I'm going to go in a different direction. What do you make of the decision? Looks more likely a Rolly Romero fight. Bit disappointing not to see, but do you understand from a business perspective?
I understand from the business side of things. Again, shout out to Rollies. So it's not an easy matchup over there because again, Rollies can hit. He's liable to catch you, and he's probably gonna put pressure on you to get to you. So that's not an easy fight either. But let's say Ryan Garcia does win. Of course, the unification does make it a bigger fight. But hopefully, he really wants to come back around to the fight and not just saying it right now in the public. But if he does get a strap and he does come around to fight Devin Haney, then I'm still happy to see the fight.
Another good fight in that weight class, not too far away. Teofimo versus Jamel Ortiz, a man you of course shared the ring with.
Yeah.
Interesting style class. Jamel obviously up at 140. How do you see that one playing out?
Jermaine is a good friend of mine. Teo's a good friend of mine. Teo actually came to my last fight to support, so I always have loved it for Teofimo. Jamel Ortiz is a great individual with a good heart. Those guys competed in the amateurs against each other. So again, it's a real good matchup. We know how boxers, try to look against Teofimo at times, but we know how explosive Teofimo can be. So for me, it's a real good matchup, and of course, I'm looking forward to it.
Just last one on the guys at 140, and we'll creep in the guys at 135, obviously including Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, right. Devin Haney will be here all day. Who do you see if, in a hypothetical world, because it's boxing, things don't always play out the way, but who would come out on top of those guys, in your view, a round robin, or is it just a case of styles make fights? Anyone can beat anyone.
I think it's a case of styles make fights because again, Devin Haney has impressed us a lot. Especially after everyone criticized him against Lomachenko, of course. You know, the way he performed against in the pro grade fight, he looked sharp. He looked stronger with the weight. Teofimo is always one of those guys you can't count out. But again, like I said, he can set to watch out for guys like Jamel Ortiz, because Jamel Ortiz is a real good fighter in his own right. I believe he can make a lot of noise at 140 if he gets past Teofimo Lopez. But again, you also got the dark horse, which is Matias. So it's a real stacked division.
Nobody's mentioning Matias in there.
Nobody's mentioning him, and I understand why. He's a dangerous guy, so it's a real stacked division. And then you got to look at the guys like, my good friend Kenny Sims and them coming up, Richard Hitchison, all the younger guys, all the contenders also coming up as well. So they can make some noise. So it's a real deep division right now. And again, you cannot count out Josh Taylor. He says he wants to continue fighting at 140 pounds. We'll see.
For sure. Jamel, you mentioned Deontay Wilder a bit earlier. Suffered that upset loss to Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua fight gone for now. A lot of people questioning whether Deontay still got it. Will he continue? What did you make of his performance? Do you think he'll carry on? Do you think he's got enough left? Talk to me.
You know what it is for me? I didn't like the game plan. I didn't like him trying to come out being a boxer like a Joe Louis. We didn't want to see the brown bomber. We wanted to see the bronze bomber. So again, I think he needs to make some adjustments. I'm not going to criticize the team because I don't, like I said again, the team has got on victory, so I'm not going to criticize the team. But I think they need to make some changes within how they approach, the next fighter. So I think they need to bring that old Deontay Wilder back, that dog, that killer instinct. Not saying he doesn't have it, but I think he just came with the wrong approach in his last outing.
Last thing I want to get your thoughts on, Jamel. I've taken up plenty of your time. Reports on Twitter that talks for a rematch between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence could have collapsed. Been going on a while. I mean, the first fight was July, so we're still none the wiser. Just your thoughts on the potential collapse of that rematch. It feels as if the idea of it was had a mixed reception amongst boxing fans. Some people wanted to see it. Some people thought the first fight was so conclusive. What's your take?
For me, I don't really want to see it. I love both of those guys. Errol was my teammate back in 2012 Olympics. Bo was one of my stablemates when we trained together. He helped me get to a world title. And I just want them to both go separate ways because the first fight didn't play out as many thought it would. And again, with everything going on with Errol Spence and his health, I think it's a dangerous fight. Either at 147 or 154, it's a dangerous fight. So I would like to see Bud go look for different bigger challenges. Maybe against Bruce Ennis, or maybe it's at 154. But Errol Spence do his own thing as well.
So you talked about that fight with Bud and Boots. Looks as if it could be more likely if the rematch is off the table. It's one of those classic, the established champ, the young up-and-comer. Have you got a lean in that fight? Do you think Boots can be potentially the man to unseat Terence Crawford? I think Boots can definitely make a great challenge. Of course, it's hard to go against Bud. I think Bud's like one of those generational greats in his own right. So again, it's just one of those things. Depending on how they look on the fight night, because again, we thought Errol and Bud was going to look totally different than the way it played out. So I don't know. We just have to see. Jamel, really enjoyed speaking to you. Enjoy the rest of the fight week, and catch you soon.
Thank you, brother.
Top man, Jamel.
Shout out to my man Carl Frampton, man. I know we had a great conversation about him. Carl's a great guy, and I always give him my respects. Again, Carl, I'm glad to see you doing well out there, man. I keep doing what you're doing, and I always give you love and respect when I mention you. I still say you were one of the most accomplished fighters that I ever fought in my career, and thank you for the opportunity once again, Carl. Love you, man.
Lovely stuff, Jamel. Top man, bro.
Thank you, brother.
All the best, Jamel. Thank you, mate.